Hello, dear listeners, and welcome back to Book Summary 5, the 5-Minute Summary channel. I'm Sammy, your host. Today, we're diving into Extreme Ownership, How U.S. Navy SEALs Lead and Win by Jocko Willink and Leif Babin, published in 2015. This powerful book draws on the author's experiences as Navy SEALs to teach leadership principles that can be applied in both personal and professional life. Let's explore the key ideas and concepts so you'll feel like you've read it cover to cover. Extreme ownership is built around a simple yet profound concept. Leaders must take full responsibility for everything that happens under their command. Jocko Willink and Leif Babin argue that when leaders adopt this mindset, they empower their teams, create a culture of accountability, and set the stage for success. The book is divided into 3 parts, each focusing on a different aspect of leadership, with real-life combat scenarios from their time in the SEALs to illustrate these principles. The first and most crucial principle of the book is extreme ownership itself. Willink and Babin emphasize that effective leaders take ownership of every aspect of their mission. This means that if something goes wrong, they don't blame others or external factors. Instead, they look inward and ask what they could have done better. By taking responsibility, leaders build trust within their teams and demonstrate that they are willing to do whatever it takes to achieve the mission. One of the key stories illustrating this principle comes from a dangerous operation in Ramadi, Iraq. During a mission, a tragic incident of friendly fire occurred. Instead of pointing fingers or making excuses, Willink, who was in charge of the operation, took full responsibility. He acknowledged that as the leader, it was his duty to ensure that communication and coordination were clear to prevent such tragedies. This act of owning the mistake not only reinforced his credibility as a leader, but also taught his team the importance of accountability. Another important concept in the book is decentralized command. Willink and Babin explain that while leaders must take ownership, they must also empower their subordinates to make decisions. This is especially crucial in high-stress situations where quick decision-making is essential. The authors argue that effective leaders trust their teams to execute tasks without micromanagement. They emphasize that for decentralized command to work, leaders must clearly communicate the mission's goals and intent so that everyone understands the larger purpose behind their actions. Prioritize and execute is another principle highlighted in the book. In both combat and business, there are often multiple problems and tasks that require attention. Willink and Babin stress the importance of prioritizing these tasks based on their urgency and importance. Once the most critical task is identified, leaders should focus all their efforts on executing it before moving on to the next priority. This method prevents overwhelm and ensures that the team remains focused on achieving the mission. The book also delves into the balance between discipline and freedom. Willink and Babin argue that discipline, contrary to what some might think, actually leads to greater freedom. When leaders and teams are disciplined in their planning, preparation, and execution, they have the flexibility to adapt to changing circumstances without losing control. The authors describe how disciplined processes, such as rigorous training and meticulous planning, allowed them to operate with greater freedom on the battlefield. This concept is equally applicable in business, where disciplined practices can create a framework that enables innovation and agility. Another powerful lesson from extreme ownership is the importance of simplicity. In high-pressure situations, complexity can lead to confusion and mistakes. Willink and Babin emphasize that plans and communication should be as simple and clear as possible. By stripping away unnecessary complexity, leaders can ensure that their teams understand the mission, know their roles, and can execute effectively without hesitation. Throughout the book, Willink and Babin draw direct parallels between their experiences in combat and the challenges faced by leaders in business and everyday life. They illustrate how the principles of extreme ownership can be applied to build stronger teams, achieve goals, and overcome obstacles in any environment. The authors also stress that leadership is not limited to those in formal positions of power. Anyone can practice extreme ownership in their own life and influence those around them. In summary, Extreme Ownership, How U.S. Navy SEALs Lead and Win by Jocko Willink and Leif Babin is a compelling and practical guide to leadership. Through the lens of their experiences as Navy SEALs, the authors provide valuable lessons on accountability, decision-making, and team dynamics that can be applied to any area of life. By embracing the principles of extreme ownership, leaders can inspire trust, foster resilience, and drive their teams to success. Thank you for tuning in to Book Summary 5, the 5-minute summary channel. If you enjoyed this summary, please subscribe, like, and share it with your friends. Until next time, happy reading.